Now, there's been plenty happening on the sporting front in relation to coronavirus this morning. The Australian Formula One Grand Prix has been cancelled because of coronavirus concerns. And race officials made the decision due to updated medical advice from Victoria's Chief Health Officer. Sports presenter Jared Coote joins us now. Jared, so there was so much speculation about this morning because there were some journos reporting overnight that it was definitely off. Just take us through what happened.
Yeah, that's right. So initially it was announced, OK, this is going to be off by a journalist, as you mentioned, throughout the morning, but then there was no word from the F1 that we're getting conflicting reports. Different people involved in different levels of the organisation were saying completely different things. So in the end,
people were lined up at the gates.
That's right. There was people still at the gates. They were hearing these rumours, but they were there. It looked like things were opening for business. They were selling programs, so it looked like things were happening. Then it all changed when we found out that fans weren't allowed inside the race at all, but then there was still that lingering doubt of, OK, fans aren't allowed in, but is the race itself actually going ahead? And then there was talk that some of the riders in the race had actually already flown home overnight back to Europe. We heard Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen had already headed home, so that just further added to the speculation. But now we know for a fact it has been announced that the race has been cancelled. There's still thousands out the front of the event there at Melbourne Park wondering if they could get in when they found out the news. They were reading this obviously on their phone, getting all the information, but nothing was being conveyed to them at all. The reason why it took the organisers so long to actually tell fans and tell people that it had been caught off is unknown. There was reportedly a meeting last night where the teams couldn't really decide on a decision forward. There was a vote, and it was believed that there was half the team members still wanted the race to go ahead, half didn't, so that left many people confused. And now that we know that it's off, you've just got a lot of fans standing out the front there of the racetrack. 400,000 people expected through the gates in Melbourne this weekend to watch the race, and as you'd understand, a lot of those fans had flown in from Europe, and a number of the fans just all around the world came just to see this race. It's a big spectator event, the whole reason these people are coming to Australia, and we heard some very angry fans there earlier this morning. Let's hear what some of them had to say.
Pretty annoyed, been waiting around for an hour and a half, had no news, so I was looking forward to the day, but obviously might have to go to the pub.
And were you personally concerned about COVID-19 or the coronavirus heading into this event?
Nah, not really. Nah, I didn't really fuss me, yeah.
Have you been taking any extra precautions in your personal life?
No, not really. No, I haven't been doing much.
One of the fans there who's off at the pub now. And so this came after Lewis Hamilton said in a kind of a public event last night, I think that was broadcast, that he was shocked that they were even here.
Yeah, he said he was completely shocked that it was only thought that the event shouldn't go ahead. And then he was just quite frank. They said, well, if that's your feelings, why do you think it is actually then going ahead? And he just said simply money. So he obviously wasn't happy with how things were, but I guess the riders, well, we thought they were pretty much stuck and didn't really have a choice other than to ride in the event if it was going ahead. But then now we hear that two of the riders had actually already gone back to Europe. So all very confusing, even now that we do know the end result that it's caught off. The reasons and the processes behind how they got there and how they decided to announce it are all still quite confusing for us all.
And interesting to hear from the Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews just in the last hour or so when he held his press conference as well about what could happen with the AFL, with him not being clear on what the situation is with the AFL. It's due to start next week. Yeah,
that's right. And so still unknown how that will happen. Will that start next Thursday? Will there be fans? Will there not be fans? And now, of course, the NRL started last night. It was a sellout game, but there was a number of empty seats in the stadium. So a lot of people obviously just choosing to stay away, even when they can attend the event. There's another game tonight in Townsville, the opening of the stadium up there for the Cowboys. Now, at this stage, that is going ahead. We believe the NRL will be looking at everything on the Monday, but of course the games would have already happened by then. It's an hour-by-hour prospect, so we could see some further changes from the NRL.
Yeah, we've got that COAG meeting happening now with the Prime Minister and premiers and state and territory leaders as well. So it'll be interesting to hear what they have to say after that meeting about mass gatherings, and also what's happening on the cricket front.
So we know that the women's tour to South Africa has been cancelled. They were due to fly out this weekend. And then the men's, of course, playing in Australia today as well, Friday. That game will go ahead, but we do know that there'll be no one allowed into the ground to actually watch that. A lot of talk about, well, should the women's T20 final have been held last week? And, of course, 80,000 plus at the MCG. But Cricket Australia is saying this morning that, the circumstances were very, very different then. We're in a different spot in terms of what we knew about this virus and how it was spreading. celebrating, so they're comfortable with the fact that they held that event last weekend. But they decided, given all the new information, that it's time to put this event at least today behind closed doors. There's another one this weekend and then another one next Friday as well. So I imagine the situation might change between now and then.
And presumably sports people and players will get their payments over the coming year, even if kind of whole leagues have been cancelled in the US. But there are so many people associated with these sporting events. Journos, just mentioning them, but also like freelance journos who might not get paid for events that they usually get paid for. The catering crews, the cleaning crews that go through all these events that are going to be affected by this with the flow-on economic effect, huh? Yeah,
no doubt it'll affect workers of all different kinds. We actually saw in America, where we know the NBA's cancelled the moment. One of the Cleveland players over there, Kevin Love, has just donated $100,000 to people in his arena to pay for casual workers who are going to miss out, obviously, on some income based on the games being cancelled over there. And we also saw this morning that the Arsenal coach, Mikel Arteta, has also picked up the virus as well. So no doubt they're going to test all the Arsenal players. That game has now been called off for this weekend in the Premier League, but no word yet on the rest of the round in the Premier League. The training ground for Arsenal has been completely shut down, and obviously all the players and staff will also be tested there as well.
Has there been any talk in the UK of having games without fans? Because there have been soccer games in Italy without fans, but they've cancelled that whole Serie league in Italy. But what's the general talk been around the Premier League? Because that's basically the number one league in the world.
Yeah, well, at the moment they're saying it's all going ahead as planned, but they are reviewing that constantly. There is talk that they might have to then, like all the leagues around the world, either just ban the fans or just scrap the league or suspend the league as it stands at the moment. But all a bit of an unknown over there at the moment as well.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave there, Jared Coote.
Thank you.